Netflix's gripping crime series Ozark made its highly anticipated return to screens in January with the first part of its fourth and final season. While the episodes were filled with jaw-dropping moments, one viewer spotted a major blunder during a conversation between Ruth Langmore, played by Julia Garner, and Frank Cosgrove Jr., Joseph Sikora. After the event which went down between Ruth and Frank Jr. in Season 3, viewers were surprised to see the two have a heartwarming conversion. Frank was the heir of the notorious Kansas City mobster and worked under his father Frank Cosgrove's Sr., John Bedford Lloyd, when he first appeared on screens in Season 3. However, Ruth and Frank Jr. consistently butt heads. While Ruth was the type to back down and accept defeat, Frank was just the same, and things turned violent, which landed her in hospital. After hearing about the brutal attack, Darlene Snow, Lisa Emery, took it upon herself to seek revenge, and she shot Frank Jr. between his legs. With a history of turmoil and violence between them, fans were surprised to see Ruth comforting Frank Jr. after Darlene killed his father. However, it was in this conversation where an observant viewer spotted the timeline plot hole and took to Reddit to expose it. The user Yaba_Dabadode shared, in episode 6 I think it was, Ruth tells Frank how bad she feels about his dad's death and then says something that just floored me and made the suspension of disbelief a bridge too far. She says, "I lost my dad last year. All of this happened in 1 year? A casino was built? Political campaigns? All of this is 1 year in the making? I just can't." Fans were also in disbelief at the timeline error and tried to make sense of the timing. User Firecracker and Thul added, "It's at least 2 years because Charlotte is 15 in S1 and they say she's nearly 18 in S4. However, Decaf Diva remained confused and wrote, "But baby Zeke is still a baby? How does the baby never age?" Despite the action Darlene took on Frank Jr. for revenge, his father still agreed to make a deal with the Queen Pin, and unsurprisingly it also turned out to be a disaster. In episode 6 titled Sangre Sobre Todo, Frank burst into Darlene's home and began firing insults while trying to retrieve what he was owed from her heroin business. However, Darlene had no interest in hearing what he had to say, so she went into the back room as he was still complaining, came out with a rifle and shot him dead. Throughout the season, Frank Jr. proved himself to be a changed man. He apologized to Ruth for his actions and cared about what she thought of him. This was probably the only reason why Ruth informed Frank Jr. his father was dead after the body was discovered by her cousin Wyatt Langmore, Charlie DeHaan. Another Reddit user Istros explained the timeline error. "It's been a little over a year. Charlotte may have been 15 at the very beginning, but she very well could have had a birthday at some point during the first summer or fall depicted in the first 2 seasons. Then there's a time jump of about 6 months between seasons 2 and 3. When Helen moves to the lake, it's the summer after the birds moved there." Ozark Season 4, Part 1, is available to stream on Netflix now. Ozark Season 4, Part 2, will premiere later in 2022.